Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hello,
Oh my gosh,
Malgorzata.
finally. I was so overwhelmed by this technologies updating of Teams, and all of a sudden it started updating right now.
Don't worry, you're here on time, so
Okay. Okay.
welcome on board as well.
Thank you. Sorry.
Don't worry. Okay,
All
so
right.
I think that as all the panelists are here, I could start the webinar of today. I'm going to share the screen right
Yes,
now. Yeah,
Almudena, is this okay if I kind of updated couple of sentences. Is this okay if I gonna do it from my
yeah. I
screen?
mean, I'm going to give you the floor to the three of you, and you will pass the slide and you will share your own screen. No worries.
Okay.
Yes, it is just that I will start presenting yours. The three of you are also a little bit the how this webinar is going to be, and later on I will give you the floor. So basically, let's before starting, good morning again to everyone. Thank you for being here today. This is our last webinar for LIAISE COST Action in this 2024 year. We have today three speakers, Malgorzata, Unai and Anna. They will be speaking and discussing about the topic of training, regional initiative, and also the Quadruple Helix Innovation. So I think the three topics are very interesting today, and it's a very important aspect to cover and to close the year. You could see here the outline of our session of today. We will start by exploring the quadruple helix. We will continue with the blueprint from a greener future, and we will finalize with how training advance the implementation of industrial symbiosis. In terms of questions and answer, the idea is that you ask to the speakers at the end, but anyway, you could find in your Zoom screen the box of questions, so you are more than welcome to put your question in any moment during the webinar, and we will try to solve it as at the end of the webinar. So before starting, let me present a little bit the three speakers today. We will start with Malgorzata Runiewicz. I think I say properly, or at least quite similar. She is professor of economic in a university in Kozminski University in Warsaw. She's specialized in competitiveness of sector, cluster, technology parts, and I think that her experience also in innovation, life science industry will give you a lot of information today. Regarding the second speaker of today, we have Unai de Vicente. He is a business administrator graduate. He worked as a researcher at MIC in Spain, in the north of Spain, and he's also lecturer in the business and administration program of the university, which the full name of the university is Mondragón Universitatea, in the north of Spain, as I mentioned. He's also doing the doctoral thesis at the moment, but anyway, he have been actively participating in different research projects and different initiatives that some of them will be explained today. And to close our session of today, we will have our third speakers. Ana Ramos is from the University of Porto. She is environmental engineer, and at the moment she is researcher in the energy units. She's acting as a scientific and technical coordinator of national and international projects. So I think also her approach to the training, also some different topic like life cycle thinking or other kind of training topic will support also today in this session. And of course, as always, the presentation will be shared later on through email, also the recording of this session. So all this information and also the contact of the three speakers will be available for all of you. So I will like to stop my presentation sharing and give the floor for Malgorzata. I think that at the moment you could share your screen.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Where is my presentation? Here we are. Okay, now how do I share my screen? Let's see. Okay, I hope it's gonna be. Can you see it?
Yes.
Is it a full screen or
No, even
it's
though
not
it's in the 7 page, now in the 5th one, okay?
Okay, I'm trying to do the full screen, perhaps. Oh gosh.
You could
Yes.
look here. Touch
Yeah.
this one.
Is it good? Is it good? Like I'm gonna click on that. That's perhaps gonna be
Yeah.
a full screen.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you
I'm
so
gonna
much.
use maybe this option. Oh no, this option is not gonna help.
You
Okay.
did well the first time. Now,
Yeah.
yes, perfect.
Okay, so my project was really to have a holistic view, systemic view on the industrial symbiosis. And since I've been doing research on the life sciences, the biopharma and biotech companies, I kind of looked at the industrial symbiotic network through that sector, which is extremely important. And I try to identify certain differences in the way how these models are being implemented. If it's maybe too much said, implemented in both in the US and EU. So we could have a certain grasp or understanding of what are perspectives for the future and what are the problems in the life science. Well, the aim is basically to explore these quadruple helix networks. Quadruple helix is a model that allows to kind of combine efforts of many stakeholders to target specific goal or solve the specific problem. So here we have industrial symbiosis, and I looked at these quadruple helix collaboration from the perspective of the awareness of stakeholders, their engagement, their barriers and drivers in implementing industrial symbiotic networks or just an industrial symbiosis model, and the potential impact. So these questions that I had was basically how do those various stakeholders, and what I mean here, I mean businesses, research organizations, governmental agencies, broker organizations perceive and engage in industrial symbiosis? What are the barriers and challenges that they encounter in terms of technical and non-technical barriers? Sometimes non-technical are also very important, like soft kind of barriers, like just culture or the amount of trust necessary to engage into such collaboration. And finally, impact and opportunities. What measurable impacts have this IC as an abbreviation to industrial symbiosis practices? What measurable impact do they can we already see? Can be estimated? And what are the future opportunities for these networks? I focus my research on two case studies. The first one, probably more in-depth analyzed. These are the companies that are located in the Research Triangle Park in North Carolina in the US. So here I have the US perspective, and the Kalundborg Park, the life sciences companies in the very popular case study in Denmark. Why we talk about the life sciences and why the industrial symbiosis is important in the life sciences. And what I mean life sciences is basically biotech, pharmaceuticals, and medical devices. There are more kind of subsectors involved in the sector, but we'll look at the life sciences in a symbiotic way by really focusing on production side. So biotech, pharma, and medical devices. Well, firstly, because dirty water waste or production waste is 20% of total pharma waste globally. So it is important. And in 2015, 2021, just in these 6 years, the total pharmaceutical substances found in sewage grew by 20%. So if we consider that in the next 6 years, they will grow in 20%, so we will have extremely contaminated sewage, and it all comes into our dishes, everyday meals. So it is important problem. Secondly, the global pharma packaging waste is another 3% globally, and in particular in the country like the US, it's 15%. So the global, the pharma packaging waste, all the waste that is related to drugs, related equipment that is necessary, to transport the drugs and just to deliver them to the downstream user. This is extremely a huge amount of waste in the US. Then hospitals generate approximately 10% of pharmaceutical waste in wastewater, and that is the common accessible data. Households, 50% of prescribed drugs become waste, especially in high income countries like in the US. And surprisingly, in the countries like Lithuania, Latvia, Ireland, or even Poland, almost 70 to 85% of drugs that we use or not use in our households, they end up in bins or flushed down. That it creates a huge problem. So we have to figure it out how to connect the ends and start collaborating in symbiotic way. And of course, symbiosis for me is a little more than just a technical exercise. It's any practices that have to do with the sharing of your resources or byproducts, or recycling your waste, or reusing, repurposing that waste. So we can connect in different ways the stakeholders, meaning different companies, and the stakeholders that I talked to where these were the companies such as biotech, pharma, chemical companies, waste management providers, research institutes, energy suppliers, governmental agencies. And again, you have to bear in mind that my experience only kind of is focused on these two cases, the Kalundborg case and the Research Triangle Park in the US. I also have done my survey in general, how it looks like in life science, these practices of, fragmented practices in industrial symbiosis, maybe in not such beautiful extents such as in Kalundborg case in Denmark, but we do have big corporate or big pharma companies that are active in other parks in Europe, such as the Basel, Switzerland, and in Belgium, in Louvain region, where big companies already collaborating in symbiotic way. And if I just go through their practices, like organic waste, they use the organic waste from pharmaceutical companies, and the transfer that into the biological waste that is either created into the biogas, or what's left into fertilizers and go into the agriculture. So that picture is quite common for companies like Novozymes, BASF, and again, it's a Kalundborg case. Also Novo Nordisk, Bayer, all these companies present in Danish Kalundborg Technological Park, and they all they are part of life science. And again, they use the waste heat from processing organic waste, and then they create the biogas, and we all know that. They collaborate with local authorities, with environmental organizations, with local community, with research institutes. They also collaborate with end users. They do have organizations, they do have social networks. They are downstream users, are very much aware of how, what they expect from the company. So there's huge pressure, downstream pressure on the companies. There's a very high awareness in this case. Also in the companies like GlaxoSmithKline, Roche, Johnson Johnson, Amgen, Philips, Eli Lilly, they also use this method not only on organic waste, but also on solid waste recycling, processing these solid waste into the materials and energy, which takes a little more funding, it takes more collaboration, it requires government involvement, and fitting into the strict waste regulations. So we have these wonderful examples. Now, going into my case, what I've done in the Research Triangle Park in North Carolina, well, first I have to mention why this park. There might be question why. Well, I read this paper written by David Concave and David Overcash and Michael Concave in 2001, and it mentions that these two authors identify potential symbiotic networks in the park, which are only potential, but because they are environmental economists, they found it that there is a potential solution there, in form of industrial symbiosis. And because I was personally very in the place, so I figured that maybe I'll try to interview and see how much of this, what they call potential, was really implemented. I interviewed different stakeholders. There are 16 of them in total. Most of them, they were business companies, like 2/3 of them. I spoke to the companies like Fujifilm, Disintet Biotechnologies, Syngenta, RTA Energy, Novo Nordisk, Cheminox, Novonesis, Azerbaijan. These are all mostly they are life science companies. I also interviewed research institutes like Research Triangle Institute, NC Biotech. I spoke to government representatives like U.S. Energy Information Administration, broker organizations, or if you want, trade organizations, Research Triangle Park Organization, NC Life Science. And what did I find out? Well, in general, I must say, when the questions were, how much you're aware of industrial symbiosis, how much you're engaged, their answer was very unsure. They tried to understand what do I mean, so I had to explain in a very broad picture what is industrial symbiosis is, so that they could understand that it's not only the technical exercise, because otherwise they would say, no, we are not engaged. So I think this already shows certain lack of awareness. So in general, companies were low in their symbiotic awareness, except for some cases such as Biogen, Novo Nordisk, and Fujifilm Diosynth, where companies already implemented some circular economy practices, and they do implement symbiotic model, but in a very decentralized way. What I mean is that they implement using their own resources and infrastructure. They do not try to make it more systemic. They do not try to connect to the other stakeholders. They really try to sort this problem or implement IC model within their own, premises, within their own company. What are the major barriers? Is basically in companies there were lack of education, proper training, lack of understanding of their environmental benefits. They are very much focused on their own benefits and not very much on environmental benefits. There's a lack of infrastructure. There's a cultural differences in waste management. Even, with their partners, they say that, there's not one vision in that. So even they would want something, but their partner don't really care. So there's inconsistency in that. There's also regulatory and logistic challenges, high cost, lack of corporate support. In terms of opportunity, they do see financial opportunities, eventually in reducing the cost of water management. I think water was the major problem. They see the potential in sorting out common infrastructure problems, wastewater management technologies. So this is probably where they want to focus in the future in terms of symbiosis, to really manage the water.
Sorry,
to connect
Malgorzata, 2 more minutes, please.
Okay, yeah, sure. So in terms of research institutions, there's a lack of expertise and funding. They don't have any funding, the governmental funding. So there's a different world that we're talking about. And even though they do like to become a green leaders within the park, they kind of label themselves, yes, we're going to become one day a green leader. We're going to, be much above the Silicon Valley biotech or Boston, Cambridge cluster. Governmental agencies, well, that's a huge drama. Lack of regulations, low awareness. They didn't really want to talk about this in general. Broker organizations feeling a little bit of pressure of that. There's a little interest in sustainability. Conclusions. Okay. The industrial symbiosis is not popular in the US, and the companies are have more decentralized approach. They focus on a strategy like green building, energy efficiency, waste reduction, but not AS as a model. Companies are hesitant to collaborate in open innovation way. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because their data is very sensitive. They're extremely obsessive about being protective in reviewing any toxic active ingredients in life sciences. They don't want to share. So industrial symbiosis requires collaboration, and they are afraid of that. Research institutions express interest, but lack of funding. Broker organizations just recently started analyzing that. And my studies are somewhat overlap with the studies that have done by Veleva, a decade ago, and this somehow confirms that. Okay, the good results, the positive results that I discovered in life sciences companies in Europe, companies like Novo Nordisk in Denmark reduce CO2 emissions, by symbiosis, by implementing symbiosis by 19 to 25%. Janssen and USB reduced energy cost by approximately 10 to 15%. Novartis, Russia, and Lonza, Switzerland, by sharing energy recovery and water purification, achieved up to 20% of operational savings. And Lonza and Novartis have managed to recycle 35% of its solvent and plants to increase this number to 70% in the near future. That is in their plans. So very, very positive results. So here we are, American model, very septic, unproductive, a lot of kind of cautiousness in approach, and we have a very successful European example. That's it. Sorry if I exceed the time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Malgorzata. I think it's a quite interesting presentation. Later on will be questions. I think it's quite good to see that Europe sometimes do better things than other continent, let's say. So let's move for the next one. If you could stop sharing, I will give the floor to Unai for his presentation about Blueprint for a Greener Future, Circular Economy, Triple Impact, and Green Skills.
Yeah, okay, I'll share my screen. Okay. Go. Okay, so yeah, okay. Well, so in this case, I have to say that the topic I'm going to talk about is not about industrial symbiosis, but is strongly linked. So the methods and models that I will share can be extrapolated to industrial symbiosis cases. First of all, I would like to share with you the mission of the research team that I am part of in Mondragon University. I'm part of the Sustainability and Circular Economy research team, and our mission is mainly to contribute to the circular transformation of the region, of the Guipúzcoa and the Basque Country region that is in the north of Spain, through research and development and innovation collaborative projects that promote triple sustainability or triple bottom line, and the entrepreneurial and business ecosystem of our territory. Okay. Well, these are the lines where we work, but I will go straight to the projects. In this case, I will share with you 3 projects. The first 2, Blue Point and Food Plastic, are ongoing projects, and GSBI, that stands for Guipúzcoa Sustainable Business Index. Guipúzcoa is the region where I am from. Is a project that has ended. And as Almudena has said, I will talk about a more territorial or value chain oriented project. Another one is more business oriented or individual business oriented. And the last one is also a territorial related project. So Blue Point. Blue Point is a European project funded by Interreg Atlantic Area and well, aims to contribute to the minimization of the marine plastic pollution, marine and river plastic pollution. Okay, because the 80% of the plastic that we have in the oceans are coming from the rivers. So if we want to end up with this problem, we have to focus on rivers as well. So the idea of this project is to articulate a new value chain, a circular value chain, in order to create new economical activity around this problem and taking into account the economic. The first step was to define the value chain, so which are the stage of this value chain. So the first stage was to identify or detect the marine plastics. So before collecting them, we need to know where are these plastics and the characteristics of these plastics, the size, the polymer, the type of polymers, and so on. Once we have identified them, then we have to collect them, right? The next step would be the sorting and cleaning stage to separate these different polymers by color, by density, and so on, to then recycle them. Okay, and build new circular raw materials to use them in the industry. Okay, so in this case, we are 13 partners, 12 project partners, and 1 associated partner, that is Decathlon. In the Interreg Atlantic Area program, it's compulsory to be to have partners from Spain, Portugal, France, and Ireland. Okay. So yeah, the aim, as I have said, is to articulate a new circular value chain through multi-stakeholder ecosystem intercooperation to leverage the marine plastic and to find business opportunities in this around this problem. Okay, within the project, one of the outcomes will be to accelerate to support and boost 25 venture initiatives that will be prioritized and that we think that are the most critical aspects that we need to face in order to articulate the value chain. Okay, so it has like 5 work packages, one more research oriented about different technologies that we have currently to face each of the value chain stages. Then we have some pilots, technical pilots. One is a drone to identify marine plastics. Another one is a new sorting and disassembling technology for marine plastics. Then we are building also a boat for plastic fishing. 3D printing technology as well to build new filaments for creating new products from marine plastics, and a novel recycling technology. Okay, we are mainly focused, our organization, we are mainly focused on the entrepreneurship part. We are building a business opportunity observatory, and then we will give some support to these 25 initiatives that will be part of the acceleration program. Then we have sensibilization or awareness raising work package, and finally the transferability or how to transfer the model we are building to other sectors, other seas, other oceans, and so on. Okay. This is what we have done so far. So we did a benchmarking about technologies and business models around the topic. What type of technologies are involved in each of the value chain stages, and if there's any business related to each of the stages. So in this case, we have 98 technologies and 109 value proposition of business models, and we have characterized them by TRL, by plastic size, plastic target, and so on. So this will be the input to identify the key spaces of opportunity and the portfolio of projects that we will have to accelerate. Okay, so in January, we will set up an open call to find the key stakeholders that must be involved in, or that we think that must be involved in our value chain, and that will be the ones that will carry out this project. The next project is called Food Plastic. This is a more business-oriented or individual one. So this project started, sorry for the language, because I didn't have time to translate it, but well, I will explain. So last year, two colleagues, we had two new colleagues in our team, and they didn't know how to carry out an environmental life cycle analysis. So we started thinking how, which was the best or the fastest way for them to learn. And we've seen that there was a gap there, that to carry out an environmental life cycle analysis, you have to be an expert. You need time to understand the concepts. You need time and resources to understand the softwares, CIMAPRO, Gavi, EcoInvent, and these kind of tools. And that maybe we could create an easier platform to calculate this environmental footprint without being an expert, right? So we started with a prototype in Excel, and this is the mockup we have at the moment. The idea is now we are working on creating a platform. It's just focused on plastic products. So filling in like very easy concepts for almost every person. You can get the environmental and the carbon footprint without being an expert on the topic. Okay, so here's an example. The platform has like 3 parts. The first one is some data about the product that you want to evaluate. The next one is about the waste management, and finally about logistics. Okay, so for example, you can type here the name of your product, the weight, the annual production you are expecting from that product, the composition, what kind of polymer, in what percentage, where it's coming from what country, and yeah, we have like several items, and you get some results. You have, for example, here the environmental footprint, and here the carbon footprint. So you can see for each of the value chain stages, the negative impact and the positive impact that it is having in the environmental footprint, so that then you can make better decisions. Now we are incorporating there, well, you will have a dashboard with the evaluated products, and you can categorize them and so on. And the idea is to simulate, to give the opportunity to simulate, to create different scenarios, that what can happen if instead of using this polymer, if I use another one of in a different proportion. So the idea is to make better decisions on when designing or when producing a plastic product, and that you don't need to be an expert in life cycle analysis to get some robust results. Okay. And the last one is GSBI, as I have said, stands for Guipúzcoa Sustainable Business Index. Here, the idea was to create a methodology to measure the sustainability level of the Guipuzcoan SMEs, then to find the strategic alignment of their compromise to the different strategic framework we have at European level, Spanish level, and a regional level, and then to give them some action plans to increase their performance in this sense. So the first thing we did was benchmarking about the triple bottom line tools that are available at the moment. And we have chosen here five of them, yeah, because we knew that there were a lot of methodologies to carry out this assessment, and we didn't want to reinvent the wheel. So the let's say that the different part or the difference between these assessment tools and our tool is that we incorporated the strategic alignment dimension. Okay, so for the strategic alignment, we identified 32 frameworks. We analyzed more than 600 strategic objectives, and we prioritized them in order to use the ones that fits the most to our context. Okay. Then we created a questionnaire for measuring this sustainability assessment, and it has 3 dimensions. The first one is governance and economic. That categories has had 14 items related to sustainability strategy, code of ethics, clients and suppliers, financial, and another one called development that, yeah, we have there like different items. We didn't know what name to use, and we put development there. Then in the social side, we have 6 items and are categorized in well-being, working conditions, professional development, and community development. And finally, the environmental dimension with 14 items under energy, carbon and mobility, waste and soils, biodiversity, water, air emissions, and environmental management system. So we sent the questionnaire, or 224 SMEs. We got responses from 224 SMEs. The execution period.
Sorry, 2 more minutes, please.
Okay, yeah, I'm finishing. Okay, and we did it in April and May, and the results were these ones. So we had a mean of 5. Well, as you can see here, the social aspects were the most covered or the better covered ones. And as you can see, the environmental ones are the ones with the less maturity level. Here we can see a more detailed analysis. The best areas were related to working conditions, economic and financial measures, and attraction and retention of the talent. And the worst ones were more related, as you can see, to energy, carbon, mobility, waste, water. So the ones related to environmental aspects. And as conclusions, here in the governance economics, nearly the 70% of the SMEs view sustainability as a way to meet market demands. Over half of them have code of ethics, but only 1/3 have formal mechanisms to address this code of ethics violations and so on. The most common mechanisms were more related to economic or financial aspects. In the social side, the areas with greater maturity were related to working conditions, vacation times, fair wages, and the worst one were related to community development. So they looked inside the company, so the working conditions are very good and so on, but activities like sponsoring, like the local team and these kind of aspects were not they were not paying attention to that things. And finally, in the environmental side, there are great investments in energy efficiency, but almost half of the sample have an environmental management system, but just the 26% have certified this system. And yeah, they have to pay more attention to circular economy related strategies, as reusing, reselling, eco-design is something that they are not paying attention to. And more than the 60% of the sample were not measuring the carbon footprint. That surprised us. But yeah, this is the reality, or at least of our sample in Guipúzcoa. So yeah, this is it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your presentation, Unai. I think that you did a very wide range of projects and research, and I also think that we could extrapolate it probably to Spain and even though for the SMEs of Europe. So let's see the question after the presentation, the last presentation. So I would like to give the floor to Anna for her presentation about how training advances the implementation of industrial symbiosis, especially with the impression of circular economy and sustainability course.
Thank you very much, Almudena. I will try to share my screen. Just let me know if it is showing and in presentation mode.
Not yet presentation. Now, yes, please.
Okay, perfect. So thank you very much for the invitation to be a speaker today. And as you mentioned, so I will show the perspective of the training courses or the training programs we have available, and we spread here at INEGI on how industrial symbiosis is fostered through the learnings from the participants on these courses. So this is just a quick layout of the contents I will be showing. I'll start very briefly with showing a zoom in on INEGI's institutional information, just to show you where the advanced training department or unit is here. So we are a research and technology organization in Porto, but we also have offices in Évora, another southern part of Portugal, and some offices in Fortaleza, Brazil, but they have the headquarters, which are where I'm located, and most of the team is located, are here in Porto. These are some of the key numbers for 2023 till December 2023. The newest ones should be fast approaching, but we are more than 300 people working between researchers, technology developers, lab staff, PhD students, master students. So lots of multidisciplinarity and different profiles here. We have some spin-offs in the market already, several international partners and clients we work with, and these are some of the indexes in terms of publications and PhD theses and whatsoever. Oops, my screen is not moving now. Why? Not sure. Oh, okay. So these are this is our business model. So we work under 3 different umbrellas. So research and development, innovation and technology transfer, and services. And the advanced training is included here in the services area of our business model. So regarding research and development activity, it accounted for 2.3 million euros in R&D projects back in 2023, then the innovation and technology transfer for almost 14 million euros, and the services activity, which is where the advanced training is, accounted for another 3 million euros, with 14% share of the advanced training programs. So just to show you, these are some of our technical infrastructures, our labs, our equipment. So they span from air quality to accidents investigation center to materials to additive manufacturing. So lots of tools and dedicated spaces to perform these kinds of works and apply these methodologies. And these are the sectors we work with and for, so industry, capital goods, aeronautics, space and defense, automotive and transports, infrastructures, renewable energy, sea economy, and health and sports. And some just a screenshot of our main international and national clients and partners, which, by the way, are sometimes and on a regular basis our main participants for the training sessions. So they rely on us for developing the technological solutions they need, and also for training them on the new skills and the new topics and all the topics related to these areas we move in, such as industrial symbiosis, or areas related or touching upon industrial symbiosis. So these are our active training programs. So some of them are planned already for 2025. Some of them are like fixed. I wouldn't say fixed in every edition, fixed content, because we try to update from edition to edition, but more or less the type of content that we include is kind of fixed, although then we update and include different contents from session to session regarding to include the feedback we receive from students, and others are customizable programs that we prepared according to the requests we have from companies or clients or other research centers or any type of profile clients. So from all of these, there are 8 that are related to industrial symbiosis, whether touching upon the subject or supporting projects in that subject, or explicitly containing modules regarding industrial symbiosis. And these will be circular economy and sustainability, energy and sustainability, sustainability indicators, sustainable purchasing, decarbonization of industry, production and use of biomethane, and hydrogen technologies and economy. Particularly the production and use of biomethane was a new edition this year. Its first edition was in May 2024. The circular economy and sustainability started in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. The one with the most, the higher number of editions, I believe it's Industry 4.0. Which I forgotten to mention. Yeah, it's the 8th one with industrial symbiosis topics. So these training courses have had different numbers of participants and editions, so different feedback and different evolution of contents according to the needs that the students show us. So this, I try to condensate in the same graph and in the same slide 3 important indicators regarding the feedback we collect after the courses are finished. And these are the Net Promoter Score, the relevance and usefulness, and the quality attributed to each training program. So as we can see here, the Industry 4.0 is the one with the higher scores for the 3 aspects. And the students find it has the highest, the Net Promoter Score, the highest the probability of the students or the attendants to recommend the course to other people, to other colleagues or friends. So the higher the satisfaction they had, and the sense of accomplishing the goals they had. Then the relevance and usefulness is also high for most of them. For the sustainability indicators and the biomethane production, we believe production and use, we believe the relevance and usefulness is not so high, because these are really new topics. I mean, for instance, the sustainability indicators, everyone wants to know how to compute them, how to calculate them, and everyone knows this is a big trend in the market nowadays, but dedicated programs to tackle this need are really just starting to pop up. So we only had like 1 edition, as well as the biomethane one. So we believe that the scores are a bit lower because there is no significant sample, because these are average values that I'm showing according to the number of editions. So there are yet no significant number of samples, meaning feedbacks and students to have a better average feeling of these three aspects. But in terms of Net Promoter Score, in Industry 4.0, the hydrogen technologies, the circular economy and sustainability are definitely on our top 5 training programs. Then the sustainability indicators is also, but with this little lower relevance and usefulness. But then we also have examples where, for instance, the relevance and usefulness and the quality is higher than the Net Promoter Score. So, for instance, in the Sustainable Purchases training program. So there are some inferences that we can try to, to deduce from the information here. I'm a lecturer and a trainer in some of these courses, not on all of them, but I don't belong to the training department. I belong to the energy department. So there are some information that is sensitive and they didn't want to share with me. So I cannot really justify what's behind some of these trends that we can see here. But in general terms, I think both the score and then the relevance, usefulness, and quality reflect some kind of tendency in terms of what our students or the people that request training from INEGI want to learn, and how they feel about the content we provide. And now I just want to show some feedback regarding, so these are mixed comments that we get for all the courses, the 8 courses that I've shown. So I know which ones are for example, directed to the circular economy and sustainability courses, because I've been reading all of them and I can identify the ones I've been teaching. But in general terms, I made a compilation of all the feedbacks that could overall feed like important information or important communication that the students made about industrial symbiosis, and or what can support the implementation or the transition from the classroom to really establishing industrial symbiosis topics. And most of the times they highlight the fact that we use practical cases in the content. So we invite companies to be present at some of our classes and to present their own case, whether it's for circular economy practices, industrial symbiosis examples, or Industry 4.0 digitalization, or depending on the example we want to provide. So there are real companies physically in the class with the students. So they not only deliver their content, as well as we promote networking opportunities and direct contact with the students. And they also highlight the granularity and the updated approach that we give to our courses, and the fact that then they can implement or have an application of the knowledge in a business context, because we also ask them to prepare like
Mariana, 2 more minutes, please.
Okay, a project during the lessons. So they work in groups and have like a homework to do, and that's why they feel that they applied the knowledge in a business context. Other aspects they mention is there is an effective approach, an holistic and pragmatic and motivating vision during the classes, then a wide range of topics covered, and again the real cases with the possibility to evaluate how the different sectors align their strategies with the economy, circular economy and sustainability principles. Then also again the real cases demonstrating how circular practices are applied. They find that these training courses are very enriching experiences, relating energy sustainability with the responsible way of life, for instance. and a clear understanding of all the problematic behind the need for this energy transition, decarbonization, sustainability concerns, and everything that's behind, and where the industrial symbiosis can be like a tool or a means to achieve this sort of higher goals. I only have three or four examples of projects where industrial symbiosis is applied, projects where INEGI participated. I will just briefly go over them, and then when you have the final slides, you will see that the web link at the bottom of the page is active, so you can follow to the project pages. This is one where we develop new products for human nutrition and animal feed from the valorization of byproducts from the processing of storage of cereals here in the Porto region. Insectera is a big project that started last year and has lots of partners and several pillars. So it will address food, feed, bioremediation of soils. So from producing insects that will then be used as protein for all of these outputs. It will also help to create an industrial zone where industrial symbiosis is supposed to be happening at the end of the project. So from producing the black soldier flies, then using establishing a chitosan unit from their frass, then the olive pomace lagoon to feed the black soldier flies. So all sorts of logistics and companies needed nearby to make this work. Then there is another project using leftover plastic from different industrial wastes to the pharmaceutical, food, or cosmetic industry packaging. This one is the Embers project, the creation of a matchmaking platform between excess heat and cold from industrial partners. So they can announce their excess so that nearby companies can get that excess cold or heat and use them on their facilities. This is an European project with 4 case studies where it was proved that new jobs were created, reductions of greenhouse gas emissions and CO2 emissions were achieved in the order of more or less 50%. So it's a successful case. And the last one is our participation in this big consortia, the Industrial Symbiosis for Hubs, 2 Hubs for Circularity, which is a European project we won last year. And there are 4 industrial hubs and in different countries, and promoting different types of industrial symbiosis relationships among the partners. And we are here helping in some of the industrial hubs with some of our competencies. So in a nutshell, this is what I have for today. If you have any questions, this is my email. Please feel free to contact me and I'll be glad to help you.
Thank you so much, Anna. I think that it's quite interesting also to see, for example, here that you are working on an European project, this last one that you explained, that is also connected with Unai because it's from a Basque hub. So, I mean, always we find some synergies and some point of connections. Before closing the session of today, I would like to ask you one question to each of you. Also, while if someone wants to ask also in the box. The first question could be for you. Anna, for example, you mentioned the different courses that you are doing. Have you planned, for example, not maybe for 2025 if you have almost most of them fixed, but to maybe in the future to have like a specific course only focused on industrial symbiosis?
We have not yet planned that because the advanced training department, sometimes they go to the market and they do like a sort of consultation of what the market is asking for. And then internally they try to start some contacts to see if within our market or our portfolio of clients or relationships we already have, there will be enough students to start a new one, because sometimes we have the same type of drawback. Even though people apply for the courses, when the deadline is approaching, some of them start to decline, and then other stuff appears and they cannot make it, and we cannot get to the break-even point to start the course. So to actually plan for a new one, we have to settle our grounds and have at least 80% certain that we will have for the first edition the significant number of participants to make it work. So Industrial Symbiosis is not planned yet, but it's not something out of mind and out of scope, especially as we account for more and more projects touching upon that subject, especially this one, the European one. So that could be coming up. Yeah.
Thank you. I have a question for Unai. The application or that you mentioned, the food plastic one, is translated in English or is only available in Spanish?
It's not available yet. It's a prototype. So what I have shared with you, it's a mock-up. So it's something I have done. I'm not a designer. The aesthetics are not the best, I know. And now we are programming in a platform, but will be just in Spanish. I hope we have it for March, but I'm not sure, because we know how this works when we're trying to create a platform with the deadlines and so on. We'll see, but yeah, we'll try to have it for March and test it with companies with SMEs of the Basque region, and then we'll see. Yeah.
Okay. Because I think that it could be also interesting if there is this possibility of translation to share with our working group members, because there is a part of LCA also in the project, especially in working group 3. So probably SMEs are interesting from other countries.
Okay, perfect.
And my last question is for Malgorzata. Maybe it's a tricky question, but I would like to know if it's possible to highlight what are the kind of stakeholders that are less interested in industrial symbiosis from USA, let's say.
Well, you mean in terms of if I prioritize, because we have different.
If we have to prioritize, who will be contacted the first one? Who will?
I think I think the saddest thing is that the regional government councils and those who are ruling the whole waste management, the regulators, they are not interested. They just don't find this as a priority. So that is the saddest thing. It's like the inverse model than in the EU. Here we have a centralized priority, and there they don't have to. There are some voluntary basis of the companies that either see the potential leadership and cost efficiency and financial incentives, or they don't see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So much work to do.
Yeah.
Because at the end, the centralization is key to achieve something. It doesn't matter the topic.
Yes. That's especially industrial symbiosis. It requires a coordinator. It requires a leader. Without this model, will not, you will not connect the proper ends. So maybe in the EU it would be the same if we didn't have European funds or policy priority that kind of binds us together. I wonder how much we would actually collaborate on that.
I have a question from one of the attendants from Blanco. Dandy, he asked you, can the multinational companies with plants in both, let's say in Kalundborg or in Europe and also in USA, to help to motivate the USA companies to cooperate? Do you know that these synergies could support?
Yeah, these synergies already exist. We have a Novo Nordisk, and Novo Nordisk is entering the part that I was investigating. And I spoke to a person who is in charge of that project. He's a European guy. I think he's from Denmark. He's very excited, but he's very concerned because he has got one partner and he's very unsure whether this is, the project is gonna be a successful one, because he said if it's to be successful, we need all the partners to have the same vision, sustainable vision. If one partner is not sustainable, it's not already symbiotic. So but there's an attempt, and he's trying to go through the regulatory frame now, and we will see. I'm in contact with him. It's a Novo Nordisk group that is invested in their first project in the US in general, to create the symbiosis in life science.
Okay, so I think also one of our objectives of the action could go to this direction, to try to go and contact more US companies.
I hope so,
and regional section. Okay, so thank you for also replying to Branko's question. I think we are a little bit out of time, so I would like just to close our session of today. I would like to thank you to you, Malgorzata, Unai, and Anna, for your presentation of today. I think the three of you had done an interesting and different approach to industrial symbiosis topic, but also other kind of topic quite related to. I just want to thank you to all of you, and also to thank to all the attendants of today. The session will be uploaded to YouTube channel of the action, and also the presentation, all the presentation will be shared with you. In case of any question, just contact me or directly to the speakers. And I think that probably will be our last, let's say, face-to-face connection. So I would like to wish you, to all of you, a Merry Christmas and a very exciting 2025 years. So thank you to all of you.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas to
Thank
you
you.
and the
Merry
rest of guys.
Christmas.
Thank you.
See you next year.
See you next year.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Right.